You know why this keeps happening? Every time I join you, it goes back. Oh, I should get my glasses. 1 second, I'm gonna go get my glasses.
We have to pretend like we're extremely serious people because this is serious business. Okay, while we're waiting for others to join and for Grammy to come back online, welcome. If you're here for the free virtual mastermind, you are in the right place. And we will get started in a couple of minutes.
Let's not be serious-minded alone. That's the one.
There you
go. People tend to take you more seriously when you're wearing a pair of glasses.
I know, right? Think even you take yourself more seriously. Well, I know I do.
Oh, really? Okay. To me, I'm just like, I forget to take myself seriously.
Because you're always serious. So sometimes it's good to just kind of be regular folk, Okay, so maybe what's the time now? 12:01. So maybe we'll just get a few. Hey, everyone who's joined.
Who are we calling with first? Do they know their first?
So I'll talk about the order once we get started.
Okay, good.
And I think we're going to get started in a second. But just a hello and welcome to everyone. This is the free virtual mastermind. And so today we're going to be spending 60 minutes, hopefully, going through a mastermind. For those of you who might not know what a mastermind is, it is where minds come together to kind of brainstorm, to solution together, to support each other, to give advice on whatever it is that you're working on. So, the premise for Grammy and I was, as the year was winding down, we were like, what can we do to at least help people? The year is almost over. Some people are feeling like, great, yeah, we tackled everything we wanted to do this year. But a lot of people were feeling like, maybe there's more that we could have done, or maybe I'm still stuck. I don't even know what I should be doing in my life. I'm at a point where I need to pivot. I need to change things, do something new, but I have no one to talk to. Because the reality is, as much as we want our friends and family to be our all in all, which means that we go to them with our ideas and they have the solution for us, that's not always the case. They won't always even believe in what your dreams are or what your goals are. And they might not even have the knowledge to support or to tell you or to advise, to give you the right advice, because anybody can give advice, right? But we want to be able to get the right advice. So that's where things like masterminds come into place, where it's a small group of people, very like-minded people who are probably on the same path as you are. Some may have gone ahead, they've done what you're trying to accomplish. So now they're there, they understand exactly what it is that you're working on and can help you to get there faster. And
Joan, if I can just jump in a little bit. So another way of looking at masterminds as well is the fact that when a collection of minds come together and you have 2-3 people come together, when you begin to exchange ideas and address a particular situation, by virtue of the nature of the conversation, there becomes a fourth mind appears, because you begin to see things from a different perspective. Yes. And so that fourth mind then becomes a collection of all your perspectives and actually becomes a mastermind. So in those conversations, because of how it works within the universe, a fourth mind comes into that particular space, right, to fill the gaps of where each other may actually have missed things. That's how I like to look at it. So it's such a strong exercise to be a part of, and I'm just really happy to be able to contribute to it. Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about Mastermind, at least I know the first time I heard about Masterminds was in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and I was like, oh wow, that sounds
yes.
And since then I've joined lots of masterminds. I've joined very, very specific mastermind. Like when I wanted to write my book, I joined a mastermind about writing books. And so many different things. I joined a mastermind about podcasting, because again, sometimes it's just easier. You have the right people there. They can advise you. This is going to make sense. That's not going to make sense. It just helps you accomplish your goals a little bit quicker. Having these people come together, everyone is kind of listening to you. They're hearing you out, and they can just push you and encourage you and make sure that you do accomplish the goals that you want to do.
Yep.
So that's what a mastermind is. And that's what we're going to try to do today. So we have hot seats, and we're hoping to only do we're hoping to get through 5 hot seats every weekend. Again, this is not a one-off. This is something that we're going to do every weekend going forward, same time, 12 noon EST. And what's going to happen on the hot seat is, people will come, they will tell us who they are, they will tell us what the exact challenge, what they do, and then the exact challenge that they want help with. They're going to be very specific about the help that they need. And I want everybody to chime in. So it's not just Baby and I giving all the advice and recommendations.
Exactly.
We don't know it all. you know, and like Lily was saying, when minds come together, when the collective minds come together, hey, there's a fault mind in there. So we want everybody to kind of chime in. If it's something that you yourself, you've done before, or you have an expertise in that area, or you know someone that might be able to help the person, then speak up as well. Put it in the comments, you know, just say, hey, maybe I can help you, maybe we can connect, or I think you should do it this way, or I think you should try this or try that. So that's one thing that, you know, I wanted to make sure that this is not just us talking. This is all of us coming together in this mastermind to help as many people as we can. Maybe do you have anything to add?
No, I am good to go. Let's get the first person on the seat.
Okay, so I'm going to try to find them, because honestly, I did not think about how we were going to find all these people. But let me see if I can find.
If you say their name, they should be able to put comments so we can find them specifically.
Okay, so we had 5 people that were going to be on here today, and they were Kelechi, Deborah, there were 2 BCs actually, Folu, someone who didn't say their name, but their email address was like a GQ on point at gmail.com.
On point. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And there was a Rich, which I'm thinking is a Richard.
Oh, no, I know that last person, not a Richard. Yeah, it's not a Richard, but I think we should go with Kelechi first, if she's here.
I don't know if we can find Kelechi. So any of them who is on, I don't know what their Instagram handles are.
Okay, that's our first feedback. So I'll write it down to update that form so you have the Instagram handle.
Hang on, I'm just trying to. Yeah, so maybe we need to get their Instagram handles so that it's easier to. Okay, so again, I'm just going to repeat the names. If you're on here and you filled out the request to be in the hot seat, please go ahead and hit the request to join, or put in the comment, just say you're a hot seat candidate, and we can invite you to join the conversation. And if we don't find any of you on here, we're going to open it up to anyone
anybody else
who has a challenge that they're currently going through. So again, you have a couple of minutes to just tell us who you are, what you do, and what challenge you have right now that we can be of help. Not just, when I say we, it's not just Bemi and I, it's everybody, but Bemi and I obviously will do the speaking, but other people are free to put in the comment section what advice that they have for people.
Okay, so while we wait for them to actually confirm, I want to say that if you're on the audience and you're thinking, well, if they don't show up, I want to jump in. The truth is, it's easier to jump in when you have clarity in the beginning of the year about what you wanted to do. And some of the things that, you know, your intentions, and you were clear about them and you said them. If you haven't done any such exercise, it becomes really tough to even answer this question as to what is outstanding and what you want to do. So I think if you're in the audience, you're thinking, oh, this will be very useful for me, but I don't really have clarity on what I would like to do right now, or nothing is particularly set in my mind. Like Joan said, this is going to be running for, well, she's committed me, so ongoing. I don't know when this is going to end, but every week. And so I would say that begin to think about even the upcoming year and start being intentional about, okay, what was it that I did well this year? And what do I want to achieve next year? And then that will even give you a jump start to the year, rather than focus on trying to finish the year. You're now getting ahead into 2023. And so listing those and then coming to get a collection of minds again to brainstorm about the ideas will set you up for success for 2023. So I'm just saying, even if you haven't fully thought about 2022 and you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure what my one specific thing is, think about it and start thinking about 2023. And we'll still be here to then help you and set you up for success for 2023. Just wanted to drop that out there. When it says hello, hi. Okay, so do we have Kelechi or do we have any of the BCs or Deborah online right now? I'm gonna have to check.
Yes.
Let me use my pen.
Yeah, to check. Let me see.
Teachers.
So is there anyone in the audience? Is there any area that you
Who would
You
rather
might have
jump on?
questions or things that you want help with. And again, it's not limited to business or career. It could be anything. Again, this is just
Talks. Hi, Mr. Talks. How good to see you. Thanks for joining. I wish that I knew how to reverse the interest rates in the UK and the US.
someone asked
However,
about interest rates.
yes, he's a property guru, always talking about interest rates on property. But I wish I could, but I don't have that kind of power. But what I would say is we need to look beyond that. Because the interest rates are high, the demand for property has dropped, which means that the inflated, valuations are also dropping, which means that you cannot get property for a fair price. So if you go step away from the problem and think about the opportunity that the problem actually presents, then you can get ahead. So the way I see it is actually now a buyer's market rather than focus on the interest rates. Now the buyers actually have a chance to, negotiate a fair value for whatever they actually want to buy. And honestly, if you're an investor, and I don't mean this rudely to anybody, if you're an investor, what do you really care? Ultimately, it comes down to the person renting. They're going to have to pay it anyway because you're going to build that interest rate into the rent. You're never going to rent it out less than you're actually costing you. So I think step away from the problem and step away from the interest rate conversation and think about the opportunity that this actually presents for you as a buyer. Thank you, Mr. Dogs.
And I know that you're talking about property, but it also applies to every other industry, I think. I think rather than focusing on the problem of what's going wrong, flip it and think about it from a different perspective. What opportunities has this created now for me? How can I spin it in a positive way where maybe now there's something I could have done I never thought about, but hey, this is something different. I can try something new. So, I know we're not teaching in these sessions, but, mindset is one of the very key things that really determines how far you're going to go, whether you're going to be successful or whether you're going to spend the rest of your life struggling and just in complete survival mode. Once you flip your mindset, things will start to shift.
I can't believe that all of the people who committed haven't joined you. Are you shy?
I know.
Are you shy? Just jump in.
Yeah, it's a vulnerable moment, right? Because
I know.
a lot of us
Hey, Kunle, I see you.
A lot of us we think people are watching us. But again, so what? Is what I like to say. So what? So what if people are watching? What does it really matter? Are you going to be focusing on whether people are watching you or whether you're accomplishing your goals? Right? 100%. For me, I just focus on myself, focus on my goals. We're not in competition with each other. You're in competition with yourself. Who you were yesterday, the dreams that you had January 1st of this year, the things that you said you were going to accomplish. That's what you should be focusing on. Was I able to achieve them? If not, why wasn't I able to achieve them? And do I need help? If you need help, then speak up, and maybe somebody might be able to help you. Because I'm a firm believer in we're not created to go through life on our own. There's support out there, but we're never going to know if you don't speak up. And there's no, I'm shy, or people are watching, what will people, it doesn't matter. What matters is your goals. What matters is who you want to be, how you want your life to look like. Success is not determined by anybody. It's determined by you. What does that look like for you? What kind of life do you want to live? Where do you want to live? What do you want to be driving? And again, it's up to you. You might say, oh, no, I'm content. Okay, you do you. That's fine too. But if you know that you have bigger dreams for your life, there's more that you want to accomplish, then be open, speak up, and the help will come. You don't have to do it alone.
100%. Listen, it comes down to mindset. Really, it comes down to mindset. Asking for help. I struggle with it for a very long time. Still struggle with it sometimes. But then I
was going to add, you still struggle with it, but okay.
Thank you very much, Joan. Put it out there. Yes, I struggle with it, and I still struggle with it. But the thing is mindset. It's really mindset. That idea that you have to be all in all. That idea that you have to be self-sufficient has been sold to us so much that we think that when there's a kink in our armor, it makes us less. And then mindset, your nature, your nurturing, the culture, it all kind of ties into who you are. So unfortunately, if you're somebody like myself, or you've been, very focused on being self-sufficient, being the elder one, you just think there's no asking for help, get it done yourself kind of thing. So again, but I'm learning. Get friends around you who will help you learn as well, because like Joan said, you still struggle with it. I know, because I got friends around me who can call me out on it now and make sure that I know that, just ask for help. And it's a work in progress. It's not always going to be 100%, but you keep working towards it. It's just how it is.
And people might think that some people have it easier or they have it better or they have it figured out. Nobody has it figured out. Like, no, absolutely nobody. Like, even the super rich, the super all-knowing, the ones who have all the degrees and PhDs in the world, they don't have it figured out. Nobody does. So I think if we get over ourselves for a minute and just focus on where we want to go and really accept that we all need help, help is available, but you have to be open to help. Like being Superman, Superwoman, all you get is exhaustion, and resentment as well. Because you're like, I'm the one doing everything. Well, who actually to do everything?
Who asked you? That resentment is the strongest part of it, because you might not actually be aware that you're resentful. You might not actually be aware that it's something at a subconscious level. And for you to be able to then bring that subconsciousness, let it not be subconscious, but now you're now conscious of that thing and observing it, you will know that you're actually resentful. Because you think, I'm okay. I hold no grudges. I don't feel bad. It's fine. It's what it is. But actually, on the inside, you are resentful. You are resentful. People do stuff, and you roll your eyes, thinking, "My God, why do I have to do everything? Like, seriously, why do I have to intervene?" It's that thing, but it takes the layering and peeling for you to clearly realize that you're resentful. It's a bitter feeling. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not my therapy session, so let's not get into my.
It's not a therapy session, but I think this builds the foundation for everything that we're going to be doing. And we're not, again, it's not always the easiest, because a lot of us are raised to kind of be secretive, like don't be vulnerable, don't share your pains, just always show up as your best self. Like social media has taught us that only put your best foot forward, be the super happy, super successful, whether it's real or not. But we want to talk about being real today. We don't want fake success. No, we want real success. We want everybody to be successful, to really achieve the things that you want. And I believe that whatever it is that you do set your mind to, you can achieve. The only impossibility is in your mind. So if you believe that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, then you will find that the help is out there. And for me, I think that's what I spend a lot of money on masterminds, to be honest. Like, and some people might say, oh, I don't want to pay for a mastermind, but what's it costing you really? Like, in the last 5 years, how has your life really moved forward? We're constantly hoping that family and friends will support you and be there for you and invest in your business and do this and do that. But that's putting too much expectation on other people, on people who don't necessarily believe in your dreams, because it was never their dream. It's your dream.
It's your dream.
So you have to be willing to kind of do something different if you want a big shift in your life. And, masterminds, because they were a smaller group of people, you can be open, you can be vulnerable, you can share your ideas. Like, no one's going to judge you. All they're going to do is give you the right advice, or, you can brainstorm together and co-create something completely different. But masterminds have been very useful for me, at least in my life. I know in the last 5 years, I probably accomplished more in 5 years than I have in 40 years. And that's the honest truth. And people might say, oh, but Joan, how do you do this 10 billion different things? But here is one of the ways that I do it. Like, I join masterminds, I learn from people who have done it well, not just done it. I learn from people who have done it, people who can show me, so that I don't have to make the same mistakes that they did. It's a quicker, faster way to get to your goals. There's nothing new under the sun. Yeah, we might want to think that we're geniuses and we can innovate whatever, but there's really nothing new under the sun. There are people who have done it before you. And what better way than to go learn from them?
I think the other thing about the mastermind, you're right, for me, it's done a lot for me. I run masterminds. I have been part of masterminds, paid for masterminds. And I have to say that one of the biggest things it's done for me is once you make your goal and your intention public, it has this way of setting you on fire. It's weird. Once you declare it,
to report on that.
Once you declare it, it has a way of setting you on fire and making you just go for it, because there is this accountability that suddenly appears, that you feel responsible to actually come back and say, this is what I did, this is how I applied what you said. And so it keeps you going. And even when the masterminds are over, those relationships remain, because ultimately you then become accountability partners. And that is the kind of environment you want for growth. Because ultimately there's so much pressure all around you and the environment that you're in. But having that place to revert into, and people of the same kind of mindset working towards different things, but also holding each other accountable, is such a blessing. It is such a blessing. So that accountability in itself, I think it's a very big output and very big part of, the rewards and the benefit of Mastermind.
Yeah, and even to take that a little bit further. So, Mastermind is one, but even just generally who you surround yourself with. And, I'll use an example. Like when I moved to Canada 7.5 years ago, I remember what everybody said to me. Oh, in Canada, you can't get a good job. You have to pay your dues. It takes 5 years. And that horrified me. It takes 5 years for you to settle in and find a good job. All the experiences you have from wherever doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You need Canadian experience. You need to start with menial jobs or go do PSW or whatever else it was that they were hammering. And this was the noise. This was everybody. Like there was really almost nobody saying to me, there's another way. But I always believe that the voice of the masses, trust me, is not the voice of God. I go in the opposite direction, but that's always been my mindset because I'm a rebel, right? But I know how if I had listened to all those people, they meant well, like they were speaking from their own experience and their knowledge. And so they were saying, you cannot get a job in Canada. It's not possible. You have to pay your dues. You have to do this. You have to do that. It takes 3 years. It takes 5 years. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, stubborn goat as I am, I'm like, I'm going to prove you're wrong, and I'm not bragging or whatever, because it doesn't matter to me. But I knew I wanted to prove myself. I don't want to prove something to myself. So I said, okay, I'm not going to listen to all of you. I'm going to do what I have to do. And I know how much difficult it was not having anybody who believed in what I was saying. Because I was saying, no, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a proper job. I'm going to get the exact job I want. I'm not going to go do any stepping stone job or whatever. I'm just not going to do it. And so I stuck to my guns, but it was painful. It was painful being alone. It was painful creating a resume, applying to certain types of jobs. If I mentioned to people the role there, I was like, good luck. Okay, yeah, welcome. Canada will show you. It was very discouraging. But I just said to myself, I said, you know what? If I lose, I lose. If I win, yay, great. And I just stuck to my guns. And I'm telling you, my very first interview, I got the job. Very, very first interview. But I know it could have been easier. The path could have been easier if I just had somebody else that was saying to me, it is possible. Let me look at your resume. Let me show you this. These are the kind of jobs that are available. These are I didn't have it when I came to Canada. I didn't. And so, like, for me, I made that as a point of duty. Anybody who calls me and says, I'm moving to Canada, I'm like, you can get a job. You don't have to work for less than 100,000. You can get you can get a proper corporate job if that's what you desire. It is available. So no more, I don't even hear people say that, oh, you need to go start from the bottom and do that anymore. And even when people say that, I shut them down immediately because I know that that's not the path. That's not the only path. But if you believe that and you surround yourself with the wrong people, then that's what you're going to get. Because again, what is true for you is true for you. Like there's no magic. If you believe that you have to go do a minimum wage job, then that's what you're going to get. So really having the right people, the right support, people that can encourage you, people who have done it. Because imagine if I had been saying to people, oh, you can get a 100K job, but I had never gotten a 100K job. Like, what would that look like? People like, okay, you save yourself. Yeah. We hear you. But I did it, and I've done it over and over again. I've multiplied my initial 100K salary. I'm not even going to multiple times, but I've done it over and over again. I've shown people how to do this, and they keep doing it. So for me, it's not an anomaly. That's the normal for me. That is the normal. That is the norm. So anybody who comes around me, I'm never going to say to you, oh, go start somewhere. No, it's not possible. It's not required. If that's what you desire, it is available. So making sure that you surround yourself with the right set of people. Look, family and friends, they're great. They love you. We know they're trying to, most times they're even trying to protect you. Oh, just go get this small job and just start from there. Oh, hey, just get a full-time gig. You don't go into the contract world. They're trying to protect you. We get it. But at the end of the day, you need to decide for yourself, what do you want? And when you determine what you want, then now you need to find the people who can support you. Not the naysayers, the people who can encourage you and support you so that even on the days where you're like, this thing is not easy, are you sure? They'll be like, nope, you got this, keep going, let's brainstorm, let's put heads together. What can we do? What else is out there? Is there a course that you can do? Is there this? Is there a mentor? Whatever it is, they keep encouraging you and pushing you towards your goal.
100. I don't think I have anything to add to that. That's my living example. I came here at the end of January last year, and when I ask people to guess, they tell me 7 years, 8 years, and I chuckle because it's just simply a case of mindset. and leaving everything that you just explained, really. And I want to say that sometimes, and if you're in the audience and you're obviously feel stuck in a menial job, you feel stuck in something that is way beneath you. We're not saying that, oh, we're saying that it's time to, make it stop or make it change. It's not time to move faster. It's time to make it stop and make a change. You going fast in the wrong direction is no progress. It's just going to be so much rework, and it's just absolute. But it also takes wisdom. It takes wisdom and humility to know that you're going in the wrong direction, and to actually not only know, but to actually acknowledge it, to say, I'm going in the wrong direction. I need help. I want to stop. I want to make a U-turn. Where do I go from here? But if you feel like, oh, I have gone this way, gone down this way for so long now, anyway, it's been 4 years, I've been doing this, it's paying the bills, it's okay. Oh, my dear, 4 years is so short a time compared to how much longer you have to leave. That I think 4 years is, it's nothing. Just stop, ask for help, and make a change. So we're not trying to say, oh, if you've gone that route, you're down and out, and so that's it. No, we're saying that if you've gone that route and you haven't found yourself around the right people, this is an open door. This is an invitation to say, these are the right people. These can be a start of something new for you. This can be where you say, one day I just was driving and something came up on my Instagram and I joined and my life has never been the same. This might be the moment. This might be the change that you require. But you need to be humble enough. You need to be able to say, okay, listen, I've been doing this for 15 years, but it took me 10 years to get my first 100K, my first 150K job. How come? You're talking about being only here for 7 years. You're talking about being only here for 18 months and you're over and over, those numbers. Then I think that I want to tap into what you did. There's nothing wrong with it. Just stop, ask for the help now. And we'll be happy to help, happy to open up even our networks and people that we know, just to keep you in that mindset and that environment. And you'll see the way your life will change.
Yeah. Your life will change. Your life will change. But you have to have a dream. Like if you don't have a dream, if you don't know what you want, then there's going to be.
It's a good start. I don't know what I want is a good start.
Yes, knowing what you want is a good start.
It's a good start.
Yeah, and I think there's also been this idea of like some people are like, oh, I can only do a job. Like I get jobs and I get why people do jobs to pay bills. But if you have other things that you've been dreaming about, if there's something that has been laid upon your spirit, because that's how I think it comes, like this inspiration that's beyond you, like it's laid on your spirit, something that you really want to do. And it's usually something to give other people joy or to give back. I'm a proponent of don't kill it. Don't sacrifice it completely because of a job. Keep your job, by all means. Keep your job because jobs pay the bills. But if there's something that has been on your heart that you really want to do, maybe you don't even know how to get started. And people say, oh, just start. And you're like, how? I need $1 million. I need this. I need that. We always create all the excuses why we can't start. Well, this is one way that you can get that clarity around some of those things. Some of those things that maybe you wanted to do like 10, 20 years ago. Look, I had things that I wanted to do 20 years ago. I'm still going to do them, that's for sure. But I always have too many ideas. That's my problem, is really, really restraining myself. But if you've always had things that you wanted to do on the side, or things that maybe you was like, oh, it would be cool to do that, but I don't know, I'm not talented enough, because obviously our negative self-talk will come and remind you that, who do you think you are? You want to do it. My friend, go and sit down. Don't let that deter you, right? If you surround yourself with people who are knowledgeable and who know, you never know who might put one and two, connect you with XYZ. And before you know it, that dream, that thing that you thought, oh my God, I always wanted to do this, but I never knew how to start, might just become a reality. And I see that time is on. So I used to be a baker years and years ago. And I became a baker because I love to eat cake, not because I really love baking for people, but I really love to eat cake. And I really thought I had a taste bud for cakes. And I could really tell good cakes from bad cakes. And so I started baking, and I was baking for months. I was baking all night. And then I discovered that I wasn't sleeping at night because I would work during the day and bake all night. Mm-hmm. And even though my cakes were giving people joy, I decided that this is just too much for me. Like, I was breaking down. I was tired all the time. My 9-to-5 job was suffering. And so, for some people, they think, oh, I've already committed to this. Like what people were saying, I've already committed to this. Oh, people already know me as a baker, I bake cake. Like, let it go. Don't hold on to anything for too long. Maybe my experience was just to see how it is to bake cakes for a couple of years and then I was done with it and I moved on to something else. I'm a social, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I like side hustles, so I've started so many side hustles. But a cake business was also something that I had at some point in my life, so I did it and I enjoyed it while it lasted. But when it was trying to kill me, I decided to let it go. So if you had dreams, things like that within your spirit that you thought, oh, it'll be cool to do this, or maybe it's writing a book. Oh, it'll be cool to write a book. Start writing the book, or talk to people who know how to write a book. Right? I've written a book. I actually have taught people how to write books. So you never know. But I'm not. I don't announce it and say, oh, I know how to put books together. But I've done it. I'm on my second book, and I kind of have like a little framework in my mind how to make it easy. But if you don't ever open your mouth and say, hey, I've always had it in my spirit to write a book, then you're never gonna get the help. So again, I think the message for today is really be open, be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to share, be willing to ask for help, get clarity around what you want. Really go back and say, what were the things that really brought you joy when you were younger, when the bills were not overwhelming? Because now everybody's so focused on paying bills, you remember the things that used to bring you joy. So you're just like, oh my God, when is the month, when is salary going to be paid? Oh, da, da, da. That's all we're constantly thinking about because the bills never stop paying. So go back to what are the things that really fill your cup? What are the things that really bring you joy? What are the things that when you're doing it, you lose sight of time? Like time means nothing. You know, you can be standing and baking or making hair for 12 hours and you still feel energized, or you might be sewing and you feel energized. But now you're doing some corporate job and you don't have time to do those things. Maybe now you need to start thinking about how can I incorporate that into my life? And again, you don't have to do it alone. That is the point. You don't have to do it alone. There are many ways to express your talents and your gifts. And we want to make sure that you do that.
Yeah. Okay? I was going to jump in and just wonder if we now have the people. Do we now have Kelechi? Do we have, I think, VC Awalenga?
Deborah, Folu. If you're on, please let us know. And if you're not, we will just...
Hey, I think that's hello. I see you.
We'll keep yakking away.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because I would have paid to have the opportunity to spend 10 minutes with people to focus on me. Seriously, I would have paid, and I still pay to have, people just focus and spend that time out of their very busy day, out of everything that's going on with them, to just focus on my own issue. And it's always very interesting because why you bring consultants? I always say it. I say your life is the biggest enterprise you will ever manage. And it's so funny that we watch organizations, we work organizations, we watch them bring consultants in, we watch them sit down with people to do an analysis and paralysis, which I'm one of them. They bring me in and, hey, I love it. I enjoy what I do. But the truth is, I always then watch individuals and think to myself, how come people never think about getting consultants and people like brainstorm into their own life and what that means holistically? And Mastermind is one of the places where you do those, because basically you get a chance to then look at everything holistically and say, like Joan was saying, what fills my cup? And so when you get an invitation like this and you say, hey, I put my hand up, I want to be on the seat for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes, whatever the case may be, and then you don't show up, it just makes me laugh, because if you were a corporate organization, even for your businesses, you would hire a consultant. But then for your life, which is, your business is 1/8. When I break it like into segments, I say your business is 1/8. And then for the whole piece, you just wouldn't take the same thing that has worked, still working for multinationals, working, for Fortune 500 companies. Just take the same concept and apply it into your life in the sense of getting people together to do the brainstorming, to do the strategy, and then you go away and implement. I don't get it. It really just makes me laugh. For me, it's just black and white. It's really just black and white. This is the biggest enterprise, you as a person. Show up, be there, and let those consultants help you. And then you take the blueprint away to go and implement. What a gift. What a gift.
I know, right? But when I hear you speak about that, for me, it's all about responsibility. But before we keep talking, so anybody who's joined, if you want to take the hot seat, if you have a challenge that you're currently going through and you want some coaching or some mentoring or some advice, put your hand up or put something in the comment or just request to join the live session and we will listen to you. So responsibility, like it's so much fun to blame everybody else in the world for things not working in your life. It's such a cool position to be. It's not me, it's this, it's not me, my boss is wicked, it's this, if only I did this, it's great. But until you start taking responsibility for your life is not going to change. And that's the truth. So to what Grimmy was saying about, You know, we work for all these organizations, we see how they run their businesses, but when it comes to our personal lives, we're not really taking any of those things home with us. We're not really creating a plan for our lives or coming up with a strategy or bringing people together to help us figure out what the plan is. If you don't take responsibility for your life and start doing the things that you need to do to get things done, then you will not have the success that you want. And no one is to blame. There's no one working against you. It's just you. Your life is a reflection of all the decisions and all the actions that you've taken in your life. It's as simple as that. It's
And the
painful.
future.
Like I said, the best position is to blame everybody else. It's baby's fault I don't have money. That's such a cool position to be in. Right?
Oh, sorry, my insides hurt. The funny thing is that where you are right now is a result of everything that you've done to get here. A reflection of all the habits, all the thoughts, all the actions that you're taking. And the scariest part for me is that where you're going to be in the future is a reflection of exactly what you're doing now. So you don't have, so it makes me laugh because if the past, was made up of things that we, if now was made up of things that we did in the past, then the future is made up of things that we do now. And so that scares me a lot because I always ask myself, what am I doing now that might compromise the future?
Yep.
And that's why you talk to me about being, analysis paralysis sometimes, because I'm so focused on, oh, what am I doing now? This is not going to play out right now. It's going to play out 5 years from now. And I wouldn't have a chance to, to go back and change it. So all I have is the present. So I need to do confidently things in the present that I know, I can only sit back and wait for the results in the future. It's a very funny one. But we have to, like you said, you have the responsibility. If you want to talk earlier about accountability, I always laugh when my clients come and I say, okay, sit down, let's talk about what we agreed. Where are you? The assignments I gave you, where are you at? And I can almost tell when they're lying.
Yeah.
And when they start chuckling and go, I'm like, you haven't done the work. During the week I wanted to, and then last week I just smile. I'm like, you haven't done the work. So yes, I said, listen, true accountability is self-accountability. You can come to me and tell a lie just because you don't want to see me, turn my eye or really be unhappy with you. You can come and tell a lie, but I won't be there. I'm only there, at certain points of the time when we've agreed, say once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, but you're with you every time. And so the only true accountability is self-accountability. And so if you're not going to be self-accountable, it's like having a coach at the gym and then a personal trainer who helps you for the 1 hour that you paid for. And then the 23 hours that he or she's not with you, you go and do stuff that they have no control over. And then you come back and say, I don't understand why it's not working. Mate, it can't work. Mate, the work that was being done or that gives you the result is the 23 hours. This person is just there to check that, you're still going in the right direction and that the things that they've poured into you, you're actually using, or if there's a need to actually up it or reduce it in any shape or form, not to actually do the work for you. So when people come, I had a client once and I fired her. I said, I'm so sorry, but this is not going to work because you can't keep, this is not a pity party conversation. This is, strategy we've agreed, go away and do the work. And you come back with excuses, first time, second time, third time, or, I'm like, I want to invest from point to you as much as, you're willing to receive. But if you're not going to do anything with it, then save your money. And let's move you into where you really need, and let's make room for somebody else that needs this pouring. So I really think self-accountability when nobody is there is the truest form of accountability. It takes a while to get into it, which is where being accountable to your coach, being accountable in a mastermind is very, very useful for building a habit, but it's not what is going to get you there ultimately. It's just going to help you build the habit of self-accountability. That's how I see it.
Yeah. But it's hard. Like, no one is saying, we're not saying it's easy. It's not easy. Like, I know when you're talking about personal training, I was like, oh, yeah, guilty. Because I always got it's not working. And I'm like, did you do the work? And sometimes, not every day, but someday, but and that's how we take life. If you take life unseriously, then you're going to have unserious results. There was one thing that Les Brown always says. He says you have to be hungry. Like, how hungry are you? Because you know how you feel when you're extremely hungry. Like, you will eat the whole fridge. But when you're already full, you're not really hungry, you're like, oh, it's a package, it's a picking, whatever, When you're really hungry, then you really go after your goals. And you really, really have to go after your goals, And once you know why these goals are important to you, then it becomes easier because now there's something there's a driving force. But what accountability does is, again, to what we were saying, when you know that there are people there who are now bought into you because they're there listening to you and giving you advice, and then you've said, oh, by next week I'm going to do XYZ, trust me, you don't want to let them down. So you will put in the work to get it done. Like, self-accountability, great. It's not easy, and it takes time for you to build that muscle to say, okay, I said I'm going to do this on my own. I don't need somebody else to push me. I can do it. But you have to do the work. Like, no one else is going to do the work. But what you don't have to do alone is strategize, plan, get advice, get support. It is available. You don't have to do it alone. There are people who have gone ahead, who have done what you want to do, who have experience, who've been burned, they've learned the lessons, they know the things that you should avoid. Find them, surround yourself with those people, reach out to them, be open, ask for help. There's no time for ego or arrogance. Definitely find people that can support you on this journey of life.
I just want to say that, in that, as you were talking, something came to me about, I receive a lot of inbox messages from people sometimes. Some people get access to your WhatsApp, they reach out to you. But actually, when they're asking for help, they are not broad about asking you for help about how to fish, how to get there, how to get into that mindset. They're asking for, hand me a fish. Or, you know what I mean? Give me this. This is my pressing need right now. And it makes me smile because I'm like, how small, and this may sound rude, and I apologize to anybody if it sounds rude, but how small-minded can you be if what you want is give me something to feel me right now, but rather than, babe, how are you doing it? Those people you're helping.
Oh, no,
what is it?
But you're lucky. You're lucky. Is that not
how? Yeah. Don't get me
always lucky.
Oh, don't get me started on that word. Yeah, lucky. Lucky is such a way of belittling your hard work. The hard work that is not being seen on stage and is not being presented to the public. They see the results and then they go, "Oh, you're always lucky. How do you do it?" And I'm like, okay, let's not get into that lucky conversation. It triggers me. Let's just leave it at that. But the truth of the matter is, basically, when you reach out to people and you're asking for help, please be very clear and be big-minded. Ask for help about the holistic thing, the strategy, the how, the mindset. How do I get it to be able to break this thing over and over, reproduce it over and over again? Don't just ask them to give you that fish or that little shilling and then they move on. Because trust me, my friends and family will tell you, for me, that little fish is the easiest because I don't have the time. So what would it take? What is it? Okay, take, bye-bye. Just so I can spend the energy on myself and doing the things. The hardest part is the investment of the time, is the investment of pouring that knowledge and sharing the resources that has helped you to get to where you are, is helping you to get to, move into your future. So when you're coming to ask for that help, be smart about that help. If you get a time with somebody who can help you get to the next stage, who can open doors for you, who can share what has worked for them, be sensible about how you ask for it so that you get everything that is required to reproduce it over and over in your life so that people will start calling you too lucky. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but you're still lucky.
Oh, thank you, Dee.
Well, the number of times I've heard you're too lucky, and speaking about being lucky, like you said, you rightly said, people don't want to put in the hard work. And that's what I was saying. People want to blame everybody else. Oh, it's because of this. Or, I used to hear, oh, it's because you studied in the UK. I'm like, but there's so many people who study in the UK who are driving Uber. What's your point? So again, it's always the easiest way to say, oh, it's because I don't have this, because I don't have that. But again, that's how our minds work. The negative self-talk that's always constantly trying to prove to you that you're not worthy, you're not worthy, you're not worthy, you don't have what it takes. And so you have to be aware. You have to catch it and shut it down. You have to be able to look back at your life and say, hey, but I've been successful at so many other things. Why can't I do this? If Bemi can do this, rather than saying, why is it always Bemi? You should be like, if Bemi can do this, then I can do it too. What is Bemi doing? What do I need to do to be able to do the things that she's doing so that I can have the things that she has? It's not about being envious or jealous. It's about saying, hey, let this person's life inspire you to want to do more with yours. Again, only if you want it, because some people are like, oh,
I don't really want to. It's fine.
Well, you won't even be on this call if you don't want to do anything.
Joan, we have a comment from Dee. Do you want to read it? She talked about the fact that sometimes you can find that having competing priorities and you just check out. I know that feeling when everything just seems so much and you can't effectively juggle it. And sometimes you just check out because you're like, my God, where do I start?
Yeah. So they always say that the only way to eat an elephant is in small bits and pieces. Never overwhelm yourself. Like, know yourself, know your capacity, and write things down. I know some people are analysis paralysis, so they keep everything in their head. That doesn't really work. Write it down. Write down all of the time you write down, these are the 20 things I need to do. By the time you look at the list, you're like, okay, well, it's not really 20. Like this 10, I really don't have to do this 10. And then with the others, you can now prioritize. What is the most important thing? The number one has to be the highest thing that's pushing you towards your goal, whatever that your number one goal is. And just take it one step at a time. There's no competition. Yes, life on its own is overwhelming. Hey, look, juggling, especially if you're married, you have kids, you have this, you're running multiple businesses, you're doing that. It can be overwhelming. But again, you have to be able to sit down and really say, okay, so what are the things that I have to do? What are the must things that I must do, and the things that are nice to do or I can get to later? And just space it out. Do not burn out, because once you burn out, you shut down, and it's like Netflix, series after series. You're like, okay, all this time you could spend being productive, and there's nothing wrong with Netflix, but at least make sure that you put in some work and then you go Netflix and chill. You can go chill and watch your series. So don't be overwhelmed. I'm not a fan of being overwhelmed, but be able to prioritize whatever it is that you need to get done.
So that comment, actually, you're very right. And one question I always say to friends and to clients is, I say, ask yourself this question. I'm a mentor, always ask me this question: what will give you the utmost return for my time right now? What will give me the utmost return for my time right now? And it's a very mind-opening question, because like Joan said, it might actually be Netflix that gives you the utmost return for your time right now. Why? Because you relax, you're able to, re-energize, and then you can then, for that 1 hour, even means taking a 15-minute power nap or 20 minutes, it's the best return for your time right now, because it will give you the energy that you require for something else. And after you've done all the work, to the sense of what Joan was saying about being able to look at your 20 items on the list and asking yourself which ones actually require my attention and which ones can actually be done by somebody else that doesn't actually require my attention. And then when you find that list of things that require your attention, you have to then ask yourself, which of these will give me the utmost return from my time right now? Yeah. And again, it also comes down to, there's so many layers to it. Knowing yourself. What is your energy management like? In the sense of, do you know what leaks energy from you? Do you know what re-energizes you? And then do you know when you're actually in flow? Because knowing that about yourself as well helps you to decide what activity or what task gets done when. And I know this is a teaching session. I don't have time to go through all of those details, but on a high level, if you ask yourself this question, what will give me the utmost return from my time right now? In the sense of maybe allow me to feel strengthened to do other things, or actually I will focus on this because when I do this, it creates more real estate in my mental real estate for me to focus on other pieces. Once you can answer that question, and every time you look at your list, I think you should make it easier. I hope that helps, Steve.
Yeah, I think that was a very good one. Like the ROI for your time. I think that's very key. I think another thing that we all suffer from is comparing yourselves to everybody else. You might see, and again, so many people have different school of thoughts. Like we know about the book Deep Work, and deep work is about focus, couple of hours, put your head down, shut out everything else, and just focus and do the work. Some people are able to do deep work. Some people are not. Some people, their mind is always like, traveling all over the place. They get distracted very easily. Know yourself. Just know yourself and be honest with who you are, right? So for some people, some other concepts say, put 20 minutes in. Just focus 20 minutes at a time. Say, okay, I'm going to tackle this task for 20 minutes. 20 minutes, set the timer, do 20 minutes. Everybody can do 20 minutes. 20 minutes, you take a break, go watch Netflix or go do whatever, re-energize. And then you can come back to it that day or the next day if you don't want to. But it's up to you. So find what works best for you. Some people are early morning people. If you're a morning person, wake up in the morning, do what you need to do 1 hour, 2 hours, and then go off and chill and do whatever and take the rest of the day easy. Some people are night owls. They do their best work at night. Good for you. I sleep at night, sorry. So know yourself, know your capacity. Don't burn out. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't be comparing yourself with, but this person was able to accomplish. You're not that person. You're not in competition with them. You're just trying to hit your own goals, whatever success looks like for you. Those are what you're focused on, based on how much you can do without being overwhelmed.
Yeah, 100. Like you and I are very different in that space, Jen, because you're the 9 o'clock or 9:30 is bedtime. I'm thinking,
hello.
No, I'm able to. That's what I want to do more. Do more stuff. But then I can also get up at the same time at 3 a.m. Like last night, I can just get stuff done. It really depends. But again, like I said, level of awareness, observing yourself will really help you to be able to come to a better decision on how that works for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Dee.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. Let me just scroll up a little bit, see if you have any questions, any concerns, any challenges, be it career-wise, work, business, whatever, some ideas that you're thinking about starting. If you want to come on live, you can do that. If you want to put it in the
Just come
comments.
on and say hi. You've enjoyed our conversation. You just want to come on and say hi and say, hey, ladies, I'm sorry that your guests or your people haven't shown up, but hey, I have really benefited from this conversation. So hey, thank you so much for doing this. And yes, feel free to request to join. It'll be good to have somebody else's face on this.
Maybe next week.
And by the way, guys, just so you know, this is work for me as well because Joan has been pushing for this for a few weeks now, for a few months, and I always say, "Oh yeah, we'll start." Yeah, maybe because I'm not typically the on camera person, but yeah, here I am. When you make commitment, when you say, "Oh, I want to do this a little bit more," but you never get around to doing it. Eventually, you have friends around you, people that hold you accountable, and eventually pull you into their own stuff. Pull you into their own stuff and say, listen, you're going to have to make this happen, whether you're comfortable with it or not, and then it will become a habit. So even this for me is a growth journey because Joan was like, okay. I said, yeah, we'll have some kind of flyer done, but she said, yeah, that's all right, we'll do. And then next thing I know, I received the flyer. I'm like, oh, the flyer is done. So yeah, the flyer is done. So sometimes, as I said, you know yourself, one of the things that you kind of shy away from. Like you won't be able to guess if I didn't tell you right now because I've been talking since we started, and you think, oh, but the thing is, if somebody hadn't put a camera in front of me and put a flyer out there and made it public, now I'm committed to it, and I know, and she knows that once I get started, like you can't really get me to stop because I really enjoy it. But to get started, sometimes it can be a pain. So just find somebody who, again, as I said, helps to push that out of you. So,
yeah.
So thanks.
I think it's very key, and I'm going to touch on friendships now. And I know that growing up as a child, like everybody was my friend as a child. You didn't really choose, like it wasn't like, oh, you're adding value to me or you're not adding value. Everybody's my friend, right? You're in the same class, you're friends. That was how we saw friendship. But as you grow older in life, I think we need to be a bit more intentional about friendships, right? So know your weaknesses. I think it's not really weaknesses, just things that you don't enjoy, you're not great at, fine. And find friends that complement that so that they can pull you up and help you and really hold you accountable. Friends who want to understand what your dreams are and can push you towards it. I'm a super researcher. Like if a friend mentions to me, I'm thinking about starting this, I've gone to do all the research for you. But for me, that's fun. I like doing that stuff. So again, I know what value I bring to friends and I know what value my friends bring to me. So, and I try to surround myself with people that can help me grow. Because we all want to grow, right? We don't want to, if you're not growing, you're dying. It's really as simple as that. So I always ask, who are your friends? Like, who are your friends? Like, if you're telling me, oh, I don't know that, I'm like, who are your friends? Like, who are your friends? So ask yourself, who are your friends? Who are you spending all your time with? If you're not spending time with people that can lift you up, people you can brainstorm with, people that you can share your ideas with, if everybody around you is just people for fun, you need to go do better. You need to set better intention to have better friends. Like, I'm not saying don't have friends that you just chill with or you party with. That's good too, but that can be everyday life. Like, you need friends who will support you if you have family issues or business issues or financial issues. You got to be able to tap into your network and say, hey, I need help with this. I don't want to be looking for, I want to go into property and I have nobody around. I'm like, okay, who do I ask about a mortgage? No one. All I have are party friends. There's nothing wrong with party friends, but I think at some point in time, you really need to start being intentional about who you have around you so that when people are camera shy, I pull them. And I'm camera shy too. Like, I never used to do videos, but again, people pushed me to do it and I push everybody else to do it. And that's how it works. Like, who builds me, so I'm going to build other people as well.
Yeah, but I also think that based on our upbringing, we really use our word friend loosely.
Okay, so it's all encompassing, yeah.
Yes, loosely, because you're saying it earlier about how, when you're growing up, everybody was your friend. The thing is that we really use that word loosely. We need to really ask ourselves, what is the definition of friend? Because it's okay for people to be acquaintances. Not everybody has to, grow and then develop into being a friend. It's and it's okay. they're just there for the moment. And some friendships, even if you're very deep and very close, might just be for a season, and then when the season is over, is on to the next. Doesn't mean that you're dumping. It just means that they've been, they've done what they need to do in your life
Yeah.
in that season. And maybe you've also done the same for them, and it might be on to the next in the sense of you taking the lessons or whatever it is from those friendships and paying it forward into other relationships and other contacts that you actually make. So we need to really ask yourself that friend word, defining and understanding what is a friend, and what are the various spheres of friendship, so that you don't just everybody is my friend, she's my friend. It's so loose that it makes I chuckle as well when I hear people talk about friends. I'm like, friend or acquaintance? Okay, yeah, well, we.
Yeah, people feel like that word acquaintance is like, oh, it's such a
Mm,
low.
exactly. I think it's snobbish, but
Yeah,
it isn't
yeah, I know,
snobbish.
right? Oh no, she's just
Yeah,
my acquaintance. Like, I consider you friend. Okay, that's
friend.
on you,
Mm,
not me.
yeah.
But
So
again, be nice to people. Like, I believe in being nice to everybody, helping out where you can. But again, to Mimi's point, you still need to have your inner circle of friends. You need to have your tribe. You need to have people who want to support you and help you grow.
you know how I see it again. Back to my your life is the biggest enterprise. I see those people as the board of directors, your elected board of directors,
Yeah.
because then they have a say. They will be at the board at the table when you're trying to make decisions. You would engage them. You will take into consideration what they say. Their vote counts in this particular enterprise. And there's some people. Listen, we have large organizations. Let's use Facebook as an example, or even Twitter now, as it were. No, Facebook maybe as an
Let's use
example.
Facebook.
But as an example. But basically, what I'm saying is that a number of you on this call, myself, everybody else, we all own shares. Does that mean that when they want to make a decision at Meta, we're consulted? Nobody cares. How much shares do you have? As far as they're concerned, you're an acquaintance. Nobody cares. It's nice to know that you bought into us. Hey, good stuff. But then we have people who have sizable enough shares that are actually board of directors, right? Shareholders that need to be consulted for certain decisions to be made. You can fire the CEO, can do all of those pieces. Why? Because they count. So when you see your life as an enterprise, the way I see it, I always ask myself, all these shareholders, how much shares do they have? Because you own 15 naira of shares, you think that you now have access to me constantly. My dear, no. It's nice to know that you have an interest and you support the so-called enterprise that is called BAMI. But ultimately, it's those who are at the board of directors, who are at the
Yeah.
seat of the table, that I have called my inner circle, that actually have, more of a say or more of an influence in a sense, or being able to inspire what direction I actually go into. So if you look at it that way, and everybody will say, me always look at it from a business perspective, but I realize that it's the easiest thing for most people to relate to. So ask yourself, who are my board of directors in this enterprise called me? And that'll probably help you to shift it out in that way.
Mm. And what is your enterprise made of? And again, nothing against people who just want to party. That's fine too. So if you say I'm a party girl, all I want to do is party, then have your board of directors, all the people who know where all the hottest clubs are and all the parties and all. That's fine too. But if there's more that you want out of life, then you have to be more intentional about who you put on that board of directors. You need to have the right people sitting at the table influencing you to make the right
D just said you wouldn't have a 40 size board of director,
decision.
right? So why would you have that for your life?
That's
And that's
chaos.
true. Chaos. That's true.
Absolute
That's true.
chaos. Cool. Well,
All
Gwemi, it
right.
is 12:58. So any final words or thoughts?
No, actually, I feel like we've covered so much today in just having this conversation. And I know this is how we generally talk when we catch up. And I always say these things can be recorded, which is probably where this idea came from. But just as a parting thought, if you took nothing from all our things that we said today, we talked about mindset, talked about relationships, association. Just take that phrase I said about your life as an enterprise and think about again who are the board of directors. And then if you're struggling and trying to juggle priorities, the question of what will give me the utmost return for my time right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't take anything away, take those two things away, and I hope that would help you as you assess people and even prioritize people in your life throughout and their demands in your life throughout the coming week. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right.
That,
Thank you everyone for joining today. I think like the conversations that we had were very organic, and I think it's usually better that way when it's not planned out. And I really hope that you found something that you can take away with. And for me, the greatest thing greatest thing that I ever shifted in my life was my mindset. Like if you can start
Yes.
with the mindset, then everything else will fall into place. So have the right mindset as you show up next week, same time next week.
Yes, same time
Have
next
the
week.
right mindset, be open, come and share as well. Give us your thoughts, your feedback, what you want to learn, what challenges you're going through, and let's help each other. Because I'm a strong proponent of we're all here to help each other. If there's areas we can help you, we'd love to help. If there are areas that you can help us or other people, feel free to share. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here with us. Enjoy
Thank you for
the
being
rest
here.
of Saturday.
All right then. Bye.
All right, everyone. Enjoy your
Bye,
weekend.
guys.
Bye.